When my mom leaned in and whispered, "Don't come to the Thanksgiving party. It's for the family only," I swear the room went cold. She thought I'd break. She thought I'd walk away quietly again. But this time, I just smiled, looked her dead in the eyes, and said, "Should I tell Dad, or will you?" Her whole face locked up. My dad stopped carving the turkey and asked, "Tell me what?" And in that moment, every lie they'd hidden, every paper they'd forged, every betrayal they thought I'd never uncover, was about to blow open in front of the entire family. If you think being uninvited was the worst part, oh, trust me, that was just the beginning. You ever replay a memory so normal, so harmless, that it almost feels like a joke when you realize it was the doorway to hell? Yeah, that was me a few days before last Thanksgiving. Blissfully unaware, stupidly hopeful, walking around like my world wasn't minutes from detonation. I'm Ava Mercer, 32, Boston data analyst, professional problem solver, and apparently, without signing up for the gig, the full-time janitor for my family's messes. I grew up in our old farmhouse 2 hours away. Floors groaned like tired bones, the porch swing squeaked like it was tattling on someone, and the kitchen always smelled like burnt rolls and cinnamon. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. Or so I thought. See, my family doesn't operate on evil. They operate on chaos, the kind you can't predict or outrun. Liam once borrowed $20 from me, saying, "I swear, I'll Venmo you tonight," then ghosted me for 3 weeks, only to show up sipping a bougie iced latte. That's my brother, a walking shrug in human form. But Thanksgiving was sacred. My ritual. I always brought the pecan pie, Grandma's handwritten recipe stained with vanilla extract and coffee rings. Dad always burned the rolls, Mom always micromanaged the gravy, Liam would show up late smelling like cheap whiskey and bad decisions, and somehow all of it felt right. Until last year. Last year, something underneath the surface was shifting. Mom's voice trembled when she talked. Dad kept dodging simple questions like, "Everything okay?" Liam suddenly had projects again, his favorite euphemism for, "I'm doing something stupid, but don't ask." There was a heaviness, a silence between words, a pressure in the air that felt wrong. I should have seen it. I should have asked harder. But I didn't. Instead, I made my pecan pie and packed my bags, thinking I was heading into another messy, funny, imperfect Mercer Thanksgiving. But I wasn't. I was walking straight into betrayal, into a secret worth nearly $500,000, into a holiday that would rip my family apart so violently that the house I grew up in wouldn't feel like home anymore. And the crazy part? It all started with one phone call I almost didn't pick up. That phone call I almost didn't pick up? Yeah, that was the first crack in the foundation. It was a random Tuesday night. I was half asleep on my couch, wrapped in a blanket burrito, watching some trash reality show that required 0 brain cells. My phone buzzed, lighting up with "Mom" on the screen. Now, you gotta understand, my mom is the type who never calls after 9 p.m. She believes phones steal sleep, whatever that means. So seeing her name at 10:42 p.m., that hit me like ice water. I answered with a soft, "Hey, everything okay?" Silence. Then a weird, shaky inhale. "Oh, yeah, honey, everything's fine. I just wanted to hear your voice." Lie! Clear, loud, neon-lettered lie. You don't raise a kid for 32 years and think they won't notice when your voice is doing the "I'm smiling but crying at the same time" thing. But before I could press, Dad yelled something in the background, something muffled but sharp. Mom's voice tightened instantly. "I'll call you tomorrow. Love you." And she hung up so fast I was still mid, "Love you too." I sat there staring at my phone like it had just insulted me. My stomach twisted. Something was wrong. Wrong enough to leak through the phone like static. The next morning, I checked the family group chat. Dad had sent a picture of his breakfast like nothing happened. Mom replied with cheerful emojis. Liam? He posted a photo from some bar, tagged at 1:13 a.m., holding 2 drinks, grinning like he hadn't a care in the world. Normal. Too normal. It felt staged, like everyone was reading from a script they'd rehearsed overnight. And then the second crack appeared. I stopped by my parents' place that weekend to drop off a new coffee grinder I bought them. As I walked up the driveway, a stranger in a suit was stepping off the porch holding a clipboard. He gave me the tight, polite smile of someone who definitely should not have been there. "Good afternoon," he said, brushing past me. Before I could ask anything, he was gone. I walked inside. Mom was wiping her eyes. Dad was pretending he wasn't furious. Liam wasn't even there. "What's going on?" I asked. Mom forced a smile so big it physically hurt to look at. "Oh, nothing, sweetheart. Just a misunderstanding." Another lie. A bigger one. One so heavy it practically echoed in the room. That was the moment I knew. Something rotten was crawling under the floorboards of my family, and whatever it was getting closer. If you've ever walked into a room and felt the air change, like someone hit a mute button on reality, you'll understand exactly what I felt standing in my parents' kitchen that day. Mom kept wiping the same spot on the counter like she was trying to erase a crime scene. Dad just stared at his coffee, swirling it like he was hoping answers would show up in the foam. I wasn't leaving without the truth. "Who was that guy on the porch?" I asked again, slower this time. Dad's jaw flexed. Mom let out a tiny, broken sigh. Then came that awful pause, the kind that has weight, temperature, and sharp edges. "Ava, we've had a little issue with the house," Mom whispered. My heart dropped straight into my shoes. "What kind of issue?" Dad cleared his throat, the same way he did when he was about to give bad news about a pet when I was a kid. "The bank's they've been contacting us." Contacting. Such a soft word for something that felt like an earthquake. "How behind are you?" I asked, already bracing myself. Mom's lips trembled. "More than we can manage." Dad finally looked at me. His eyes weren't angry. They were scared. I hadn't seen fear in my father's face since I was 8 and my appendix burst. "How behind?" I repeated, my voice thinner this time. Another pause. Another blow. "3 payments," Dad whispered. Mom corrected him. 4. My knees went weak. 4? 4 months behind? Why didn't you tell me? You know I'd help. Why hide it? Mom's tears broke free. Dad looked away, and for a second I thought maybe this was just mismanagement, something fixable. But then Dad mumbled something under his breath, too soft to catch. "What?" I said. He swallowed fart. "It wasn't us." My stomach twisted. "What do you mean it wasn't you?" Mom choked out the words like poison. "It was Liam." The room swayed. My ears rang. "Liam? My brother who couldn't even return $20. My brother who posted bar selfies while my parents were drowning? What did he do?" Dad finally shoved the stack of envelopes across the table. Bank notices, warnings, final reminders. Mom forced out the truth between shaky breaths. "He took out a line of credit against the house." My entire world froze. The farmhouse, our house, was weeks from foreclosure. And Liam? I wish I could tell you I handled the news calmly, that I breathed through it, processed it like a rational adult. Nope. I drove to Liam's apartment like a rocket with emotional turbulence. His place was exactly what you'd expect from a guy who treats responsibility like it's optional. Empty beer cans, laundry piles, and that stale, all-clean tomorrow smell that never actually goes away. He opened the door wearing sweatpants, holding a cereal bowl, shocked like I was the one intruding on his peaceful life. "Ava, what the hell? Why are you here?" His voice had that annoyed tone people get when the truth is about to corner them. I shoved the bank letters into his chest. These. Explain. Now. He blinked like a deer in headlights, then casually set his cereal down. Oh, good, he was choosing the I'm chill act. Classic Liam. Okay, look, he started, scratching his neck. It wasn't, that big of a deal. I almost laughed. A line of credit against our childhood home isn't a big deal. This man needed a reality check with interest and late fees. 4 months behind, Liam. 4. The house is about to be taken. Mom's crying, Dad's falling apart, and you vanished like a raccoon running from the porch light. He sighed dramatically like I was stressing him out. I had this investment thing lined up. My buddy had this opportunity, and I just needed quick cash to get in. Ah, yes, Liam's magical imaginary investments. Translation: gambling, shady bets, anything with flashing lights and bad odds. And then what? I asked. You thought you'd double it overnight and pay it back before anyone noticed? You thought you were in Ocean's 11? He rolled his eyes. Jesus, Ava, calm down. I was trying to help all of us. You don't get it. Oh, I got it. I got it more than he ever would. This house is weeks from foreclosure, I said low. You didn't just gamble money, you gambled our family. His mask cracked for a second. Guilt flashed across his eyes before he shoved it down. I'll fix it. I just need more time. Time? That was the one thing we didn't have. I stared at him, feeling something break inside me. Not anger, not sadness, something colder. A realization. Liam didn't understand consequences because he never had to face them. Not yet. But he would. Hold up. Before I tell you what I found next, before the whole thing starts unraveling in ways I never saw coming, can I ask you something? If you're still here listening to me spill my guts, hit that like button so I know you're walking through this mess with me. And seriously, subscribe because the truth I'm about to dig up, yeah, you're gonna want to hear every second of it. And if you're really riding with me through all this chaos, drop a comment saying, I'm with you, Ava. It sounds small, but trust me, it means more than you know. All right, deep breath. Let's keep going because what I uncovered next, it changed the entire story. You ever feel your heartbeat in your throat? That was me driving back from Liam's place. Hands shaking, mind spinning, replaying every stupid excuse he'd thrown at me. I kept thinking, how did it get this bad? How did nobody say anything? But when I walked into the farmhouse that night, all the noise in my head went silent. Mom was sitting at the kitchen table, elbows on her knees, face buried in her palms. Dad was pacing like he was training for a marathon he didn't sign up for. They both looked smaller, tired, defeated. And it hit me. They weren't hiding the truth to protect themselves. They were hiding it because they were ashamed. Dad sat down across from me and slid the final notice letter my way. 32 days, he said. If we don't come up with the full amount, the bank takes everything. 32 days. 1 month. 4 decades of memories gone. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I whispered. Mom's voice cracked. Because you always fixed everything, Ava, and we didn't want you to feel like you had to fix this too. But I did. I already did. I looked at the numbers, did the math instinctively, calculated interest, penalties, recovery costs. My savings could cover it. Barely. But it was possible. And then Dad said something that broke me in a way Liam never could. We didn't ask him to do it. He just showed up with the papers, said it was temporary. By the time we realized what he'd done, it was too late. Liam had gambled with their trust, and I was about to pay the price. Okay, I said quietly. I'll handle it. Mom gasped. Dad's shoulders sagged with relief. But I wasn't done. I'll save the house, but Liam signs an agreement. Repayment in full, and if he can't do that, he pays market rent after 6 months. Dad didn't argue. Mom didn't argue. Honestly, it felt like they were waiting for someone, anyone, to take control. And then Liam walked in. He looked at the contract like it was some personal insult. "This is extreme," he said. "So is foreclosure." After 30 minutes of whining and excuses, he finally signed. And as my pen hit the bank paperwork the next morning, $480,000 drained from my account, I felt that cold, heavy truth settle in my chest. I didn't just save the house, I saved the people who wouldn't have saved me. But at the time, I thought things would get better. I didn't know the betrayal hadn't even started yet. The week after I paid off the debt, I expected something. Gratitude. A hug. Maybe a family dinner where we didn't all look like we'd survived a tornado. Instead, everything got weirder. Mom acted like she was walking on glass, smiling too big, thanking me for things I didn't do, like handing her a fork or existing in the same room. Dad kept busy with projects, fixing random things around the house that didn't need fixing. The man was out back tightening screws on the mailbox like it was a bomb he was defusing. And Liam? Oh, Liam turned into the human embodiment of a cold shoulder. First 3 days, he avoided me completely. When he finally did show up, he acted like I'd committed a crime by making him sign that repayment agreement. He'd mutter stuff like, "You didn't have to go nuclear," or "You love control, don't you?" Buddy, I just saved our entire family. Maybe start with thanks? But the real punch came when I checked social media. There he was, posting selfies at a rooftop bar downtown, clinking glasses with friends. Caption? Blessed. Blessed? BLESSED? My bank account had just taken a $480,000 gut punch, and this man was out here doing bottle service like he won the lottery. I swear my soul tried to leave my body. When I confronted him, he brushed it off. "It was just one night, Ava. Relax." Relax. That word is a trigger. Only people who've done something reckless say relax. Meanwhile, Mom kept whispering about Thanksgiving plans, how it was going to be extra special this year, how she was excited to have the whole family together. She kept saying it like a spell she was trying to cast. But something about her energy didn't sit right. Her eyes darted away every time I mentioned bringing my pecan pie. Dad got fidgety whenever I talked about what time I should arrive. And there was this distance, not physical, emotional, like they were holding a secret between them, tightening it like a knot. Late one night, I overheard Mom and Dad arguing in the living room. Their voices were low but tense, the kind of tension that makes walls feel thinner. "She deserves to be there," Dad muttered. But Maya said, "Maya? My cousin? What did she have to do with Thanksgiving?" I leaned closer, but the voices quieted. The knot in my stomach didn't. Something was coming. I could feel it. Something cold and ugly hiding right behind the holiday cheer. And I had no idea how bad it was going to get. I should have known something was off the night before Thanksgiving. I don't mean a weird vibe, I mean that specific kind of silence that feels staged, like everyone around you is holding their breath and waiting for you to walk into the trap. It was 12:07 a.m. I was lying in bed, scrolling recipes for the pecan pie I'd planned to make in the morning. I even had the ingredients lined up on the counter: brown sugar, vanilla, my grandma's bowl. My day was supposed to start at 7 a.m., with coffee and jazz and memories. Then my phone buzzed. "Mom, sweetheart, we've decided Thanksgiving will be only immediate family this year. Hope you understand." My brain didn't process it at first. I just stared at the screen, blinking. Immediate family? I am immediate family. I read it again, and every time it hit harder. They weren't just cutting me out of the holiday. They were cutting me out after I saved their entire damn house. I typed, deleted, typed again. My hands were shaking so hard I could hear my nails tapping the screen. Finally, I sent one word. Understood. That's it. The shortest text I've ever sent with the most weight behind it. I put the phone down, stared at the ceiling, and for the first time since childhood, Thanksgiving didn't feel like a holiday. It felt like a weapon. I waited. Maybe Mom would call. Maybe she'd explain. The phone stayed silent. At 12:32 a.m., a second message came in, but this time from Liam. Don't make this weird, Ava. It's just one dinner. Just one dinner. The audacity. The absolute delusion. My chest tightened, my eyes burned, not from sadness, but from something colder. Sharper. All the little signs from the past 2 weeks clicked into place. The whispers, the silence, the way Mom dodged my questions, Dad's guilt, Liam's arrogance. This wasn't a last-minute decision. This was planned. Not only planned, coordinated. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. The kind of break you don't come back from. I opened the drawer next to my desk, pulled out the repayment agreement Liam had signed, ran my thumb across the signature, and right there under the soft glow of my bedside lamp, I whispered to myself, okay, if they want distance, I'll give it to them. A different kind of Thanksgiving was about to begin. I didn't sleep after those texts, not even for a minute. I lay there replaying every family moment of the past year like a movie I suddenly realized had hidden clues planted all along. And every clue pointed to one thing. Someone had been pulling strings behind my back. By 5:40 a.m., I was done thinking. I needed answers, real ones. So I drove to my parents' house. Yeah, I know. Why go there after they iced me out? Because sometimes the truth sits in the places that hurt you the most. When I pulled into the driveway, the house looked normal. Cozy lights in the kitchen window, Dad's old truck parked crooked like always, Mom's fall wreath on the door. But I swear the whole place felt different, like a stage set after the actors go home. I knocked once. No answer. I had a key, but I hesitated. Then I remembered Liam's message. Don't make this weird. Oh, I was way past weird now. I unlocked the door. The house was quiet, but not empty. I could hear footsteps upstairs, quick, sharp ones, like someone pacing, like someone who didn't expect me to be there. Mom? I called out. Nothing. I walked slowly upstairs, each step echoing. When I reached the hallway, I saw a faint light coming from the attic ladder. The door was halfway open. Mom never goes into the attic. Dad avoids it like it's haunted. So who was up there? My heart thudded so hard I could feel it in my teeth. But I pushed the ladder up anyway. When I climbed inside, I froze. Because sitting in the middle of the attic floor, surrounded by labeled boxes, old photos, and folders I hadn't seen in years, was Liam. Sweaty, panicked, and holding a stack of papers he clearly didn't want me to see. "What the hell are you doing?" I asked. He jumped like he'd been electrocuted. "Ava, what? You can't just show up." I stepped closer. He stepped back. "Ava, I swear, this isn't what it looks like." Which, of course, is code for, "This is exactly what it looks like." Then I noticed something on the floor. My name. On multiple envelopes. All opened, all clearly hidden. Letters I never received. Documents I never knew existed. Things my own family kept from me. My breath went cold. And that's when Liam whispered, barely audible, "Ava, please don't freak out." Oh, honey. I was way past freaking out. But the worst part? I hadn't even seen the one document that would flip my entire world upside down and prove exactly who betrayed me first. I'm standing there in the attic, dust floating in the sunlight like confetti from the world's saddest party, and Liam is sweating bullets like he just got caught robbing a bank. And honestly, he kinda did. I crouched down and picked up the first envelope, my name written in my mother's neat cursive. A birthday card from last year. "Why is this here?" I asked. Liam stammered. "Mom, she didn't want to stress you. Things were complicated." Complicated? The only thing complicated was the knot of rage tightening in my chest. Another envelope. Another message I never saw. Invites, updates, bank notices, even a letter from the mortgage company addressed to me, one I should have received months before I stepped in to save the house. My voice cracked. "You hid these?" He ran his hand through his overgelled hair. "It wasn't like that, Ava. I just needed time to fix things on my own." "Fix? Liam, you nearly lost the house." He looked away. I reached for the folder he'd been clutching. He held it tighter. "Liam, give it." He shook his head, and that alone told me everything. I snatched it from his hands. He didn't even fight, just let his arms drop like they were too heavy to lift anymore. I opened the folder, and there it was. A signed refinancing agreement. Not from Mom, not from Dad. From me. Forged. In my handwriting. My stomach turned so fast I almost fell backwards. "Liam, what did you do?" He whispered. "I was going to pay it back, I swear. I needed... You needed to commit fraud with my name, my credit?" He flinched. "Ava, keep your voice down. If Mom hears..." "Oh, she's gonna hear," I snapped. "The whole damn state is gonna hear." He grabbed my wrist. "Ava, please, don't blow this up. I was desperate. I thought I could fix it before you noticed. I didn't think..." "Yeah," I snapped, pulling away. "You never do." Then, quietly, "You forged my signature. You stole my financial identity. You lied to Mom and Dad, and you almost let the bank come after me." His eyes filled, but I wasn't biting. For the first time in his life, Liam realized he wasn't talking to the sister who bailed him out. He was talking to the woman who could end him legally. But what I didn't know, not yet, was that this wasn't just Liam's secret. Someone else in that house helped him pull it off, and that betrayal would cut even deeper. I was still clutching that forged refinance agreement like it was a live wire. My hands were shaking, part fury, part heartbreak. The attic felt smaller, hotter. Liam kept pacing like a caged raccoon who knew the trap door had finally slammed shut. "Who helped you?" I asked. He froze. "Because you sure as hell didn't pull this off alone. You can barely fill out a DMV form without calling Mom." He swallowed hard. "Ava, drop it." Wrong answer. I stepped closer. "Is that what you told the bank? Drop it? Because they sure didn't. They sent letters. To me. That you hid." His eyes darted toward the attic stairs. "Don't even think about running," I snapped. "I want the truth." He inhaled shakily, like he was fighting tears or guilt, or both. "Ava, you're gonna be mad." "Oh, sweetie. We flew past mad an hour ago. Try me." He closed his eyes. "It wasn't just me." Silence stretched between us so long I could hear the hum of the attic light. Then I said it, the name already forming in my mind, even though I didn't want to believe it. "Mom?" He flinched. That tiny, pathetic reaction told me everything. I felt my entire spine go cold. "Liam, tell me you're not saying what I think you're saying." He rubbed his forehead. "Look, she really thought she was doing the right thing. She said you'd panic. She didn't want to ruin your peace. She wanted time for us to fix it." "Us?" I repeated, incredulous. "So she was in on the forgery?" "No, not the forgery. I did that, I swear. Mom just didn't send you the letters. She wanted to protect you. Her words, not mine." I laughed. One sharp, humorless bark. Protect me? By letting the bank think I defaulted? By letting Liam play financial pyromaniac in the dark? I felt the betrayal crack through me like a sidewalk splitting under an earthquake. And Dad? I whispered. Did he know? Liam went still. He didn't have to answer. That silence was an answer. I staggered back, pressing my hand to my chest. My whole family lied to me. All of you. To protect him. Liam whispered. Ava, please don't blow this up. Thanksgiving is already tense. If you drop this on them today... Oh, I cut in. Voice low, trembling. I'm not dropping anything. Because what Liam didn't realize, what none of them realized, was that I hadn't come to the house to talk. I had come with paperwork of my own, and once they saw it, Thanksgiving would never be the same again. I climbed down from that attic like I was descending into a different life, one where the people I trusted most had played me like a fiddle. My legs felt stiff, my throat tight, my pulse hitting numbers my smartwatch would probably flag as, "You good, girl?" The hallway looked the same as always. Family photos, old carpet, that dumb ceramic goose Mom refused to throw away. But now, every square inch felt tainted. I heard whispers from the kitchen, Mom's voice, low and urgent. Dad's heavier footsteps shifting like he was stressed. They didn't know I was in the house. Good. I stepped into the doorway. Mom spun so fast she nearly dropped her mug. Ava, honey, we didn't hear you come in. Dad blinked like he'd seen a ghost. You're early. You should have texted first. I just stared at them. Two people I had always thought would die before lying to me. My voice came out calm. Too calm. Can we talk? Mom forced a smile. Sweetie, now is not a good time. We're prepping. Cool, I said. I'll keep it short. And I dropped the forged refinancing folder on the table. It landed with a slap so loud even the fridge seemed to stop humming. Mom's face drained. Dad looked like he got hit with a shovel. Liam hovered behind me on the stairs, whispering, Ava, please don't. Oh, I'm gonna, I said without looking back. I turned to my parents. So let me get this straight. You didn't want to stress me out, so you hid legal notices in my name and then let Liam handle it? Dad rubbed his temples. Ava, it was a mistake. A mistake? I repeated. I bailed you out with nearly $500,000, and this is what you do? Mom stepped forward, tearing up. Baby, we never wanted to hurt you. My voice cracked. Then why did you? She reached for my hand. I pulled back. Dad tried to stand taller. Let's not make this dramatic. Dramatic? I said, laughing bitterly. Dad, you're lucky I'm not calling the cops right now. Liam whispered, Can we all just calm down? I turned on him. You don't get to say calm to me. Not today. They were speechless. Perfect. Because now the part they weren't ready for was finally coming. I pulled another envelope from my bag. Thicker, crisp, official. Their eyes locked on it like it was a ticking bomb. And oh, it was. Because inside that envelope was the one thing that would rip Thanksgiving and our entire family dynamic to absolute shreds. I set that thick, crisp envelope on the kitchen table like it was a chess piece that would checkmate 3 generations at once. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad stiffened like someone poured cement down his spine. Liam whispered, Ava, what is that? I didn't answer. Not yet. Sometimes silence is the loudest weapon you've got. I pulled out the papers slowly, deliberately, letting the tension stretch until even I felt short of breath. Dad cleared his throat. Ava, before you do something impulsive. Impulsive? I said, raising an eyebrow. Dad, I found out this morning that you people let my name be used for a fraudulent refinance. I think we passed impulsive around the time Liam ran a financial hit and run using my credit score. He winced. I slid the first document across the table. A formal demand for repayment. Every cent I had paid to save the farmhouse. Mom choked out, Ava, no, don't do this. Oh, I'm doing it, because apparently the only language any of you understand is paperwork. I gave you $500,000 out of love. You turned around and played me. So now we're doing this by the book. Dad's voice sharpened. Where will we get that kind of money? That, I said, is not my problem anymore. Liam stepped forward, voice cracking. Ava, please don't do this to us. Funny, I said. That's exactly what I thought when I realized you forged my name, but you did it anyway. He tried to reach for my arm. I pulled back. Mom's tears spilled. We didn't want to lose the house. We panicked. And instead of talking to me, I said, you made me the fall guy. You let the bank think I was the irresponsible one. You hid letters, you lied to my face, and then you disinvited me for Thanksgiving for being intense. I leaned in, meeting each of their eyes. You want to talk about intense? Try opening your door on Thanksgiving morning to a legal courier. Because if you don't comply with this repayment plan, your precious farmhouse becomes my legal property. The room went dead silent. Mom whispered, Ava, you wouldn't. I smiled, slow, deliberate, ice cold. Try me. Dad opened his mouth, but I wasn't done. I reached into the envelope again. There's one more document, and it's the one you're really not ready for. Their faces drained, because the final document wasn't about money. It was about exposing the person who orchestrated everything behind my back and watching the entire family turn on them in real time. The room was so silent. I swear I could hear the Thanksgiving turkey thawing in the sink behind me. Mom's crying, Dad's stunned, Liam looks like he's about to pass out. Perfect. I pulled out the final sheet of paper. Just one page, but it carried the weight of a wrecking ball. A notarized record of authorization inquiry. Basically, a deep check into who had contacted the bank on my behalf, who had impersonated me, who had verified the forged signature as correct. Liam swallowed. Ava, please don't. Oh no, sweetie, you don't get to talk right now. Dad stepped forward, attempted authority mode activated. Whatever that is, we can explain. Sit, I told him. The room was so silent, I swear I could hear the Thanksgiving turkey thawing in the sink behind me. Mom's crying. Dad's stunned. Liam looks like he's about to pass out. Perfect. I pulled out the final sheet of paper. Just one page, but it carried the weight of a wrecking ball. A notarized record of authorization inquiry. Basically, a deep check into who had contacted the bank on my behalf, who had impersonated me, who had verified the forged signature as correct. Liam swallowed. Ava, please don't. Oh no, sweetie. You don't get to talk right now. Dad stepped forward, attempt at authority mode activated. Whatever that is, we can explain. Sit, I told him. He actually did. I placed the document in the middle of the table and tapped the name highlighted near the bottom. You see that? I said. That's the person the bank recorded as verifying my financial identity. Someone who called them pretending to confirm my signature. Mom squinted, confused. Dad leaned in, frowning. Liam froze, didn't move a muscle. And then Mom gasped, because the name wasn't Liam, wasn't Dad, it was her, Patricia Mercer, my mother. Her voice fell apart. Ava, no, honey, That's not what it looks like. Oh, it's exactly what it looks like. You called the bank and pretended to be me. You told them the forged signature was mine. You gave Liam the green light to use my credit as a crash pad. Dad whispered, horrified. Patricia, tell me you didn't do that. She grabbed the table edge, shaking. I thought I was helping. Liam said he just needed time. I was scared we were behind. Ava, I swear, I thought you'd say no. That's the point. You didn't even give me the chance. Liam was near tears. Mom, I told you not to get involved. Shut up, she shouted, turning on him so fast he recoiled. Dad slammed his fist on the table. Do you realize what you two have done? You put our daughter in legal jeopardy. Mom sobbed into her hands. Liam looked at the floor. And me? I just stood there, feeling the last thread of trust snap cleanly. Because the truth wasn't that Liam betrayed me. It was that my mother helped him do it. But the craziest part? They still hadn't seen the fallout I'd already set in motion. A move that would turn Thanksgiving Day into a nuclear detonation none of them could walk away from. If you've ever seen a family implode in slow motion, let me tell you, it's not quiet, and it's not graceful. The second my mother's name stared up at everyone from that authorization report, the entire kitchen cracked open like a fault line. Dad was livid, face flushed, jaw pulsing. Mom was shaking so hard the papers on the table rustled. Liam looked like he wanted to crawl under the fridge and live there forever. I stood still. Calm. Cold. Done. Mom reached toward me, palms trembling. Ava, please, baby, I made a mistake. A big mistake. But everything we did, everything, I swear it was out of love. I took a slow breath. Love doesn't look like fraud, Mom. She winced like I slapped her. Dad turned to her, voice low and dangerous. You impersonated our daughter. You could have ruined her life. Mom broke, full-on sobbing. I thought I was helping Liam. He was drowning. I didn't want to lose the house. Dad's voice cracked. So you threw Ava under the bus instead? Liam finally spoke. Dad, stop yelling at her. This is on me too. Dad swung on him. Boy, if you don't sit your behind down. The whole room was vibrating with anger, shame, panic. You could almost taste the adrenaline. And that's when the doorbell rang. A clean, sharp ding-dong that sliced through all the shouting. Mom froze. Dad stiffened. Liam whispered, No, not now. I didn't move. Expecting someone? No answer. Dad walked to the door like a man walking toward his execution. He opened it. A courier stood there, neatly dressed, polite smile, holding 2 thick envelopes. Delivery for the Mercer household. Dad's voice trembled. What is this? Time-sensitive documents. Need signatures. Mom whispered. Ava, what did you do? I stepped forward slowly. Every word measured. I told you earlier I wasn't here to talk. Liam's eyes widened. Ava, you didn't. Oh, I did. I lifted my chin. Those are formal notices from my attorney. Demands for repayment, legal declarations, asset protection steps, everything you should have told me before you dragged me into your mess. Mom shook her head. Ava, please, this will ruin Thanksgiving. No, Mom, I said softly. You ruined Thanksgiving the moment you chose to betray me. Dad stared at me, stunned, but he didn't tell me to stop. He didn't say I was wrong. Because he knew. Deep down, I wasn't. But the delivery wasn't even the real explosion. The real shock was still in my bag. The final move that would flip the entire family dynamic forever and force someone in that house to confess the one truth they'd been hiding for years. The courier's car hadn't even left the driveway before the house erupted again. Panic, accusations, whisper shouting, all of it spilling over like a pot someone forgot on the stove. But I wasn't listening, because I still had one more piece to play. The last document sat in my bag, thin, folded, Simple. But it was the one that would finally rip the curtain off the lie my family had been sitting on for years. I took it out slowly. Liam noticed first. "Ava, what is that?" Mom's face went white, like she already knew. Dad looked exhausted, like every truth he'd been avoiding was finally catching up to him. "This," I said, holding it up, "is the bank's voice authorization log from the refinance attempt 4 years ago." Dad frowned. 4 years? But we weren't in trouble then. "Exactly," I said. Mom whispered, "Ava, please don't do this." I turned to Liam. "Do you remember when you borrowed my college fund for car repairs, and everyone swore it was an accident, that Mom had given the wrong account?" His face drained. Dad's mouth fell open. "Patricia, tell me that's not true." Mom collapsed into a chair. "It wasn't supposed to go this far. I thought I could fix it before she found out." "Found out what?" Dad thundered. She sobbed, messy, gasping, shaking. "The first identity verification, the first signature, the first time Ava's name got used without her permission, that wasn't Liam." She covered her face. "It was me." Liam stared at her like she'd punched him in the throat. Dad stumbled backward like he'd been shot. My heart beat, cold, steady. Mom kept going. "The money was gone. I panicked. I thought Ava wouldn't understand. I told Liam to keep quiet because I didn't want to lose her. I've been hiding it for years. I'm so sorry, baby." I didn't cry. I think I'd run out of tears the day they disinvited me. I just looked at her, really looked, and said, "You didn't lose me today, Mom. You lost me 4 years ago. You're just noticing now." Silence. Heavy. Final. I gathered my documents, my keys, my pride. Mom reached for me. "Ava, don't leave, please. Don't walk out like this." I stepped back. "For once, I'm choosing myself. You all made your choices. Now you live with them." Dad tried to speak, but I was already walking out the door. And as I stepped into the cold Thanksgiving air, the wind hit my face like a reset button. For the first time in my life, I felt free. Not vindictive, not victorious, just done. And that peace, that quiet, solid peace, was worth more than every dollar I ever spent saving that house. And if you felt every twist of this story, if you've ever walked away from a family that broke your trust, or if Ava's journey hit a little too close to home, then do me a favor. Hit that like button so this story reaches someone who needs that same courage. Subscribe if you want more raw, real, gut-punch stories just like this one, and drop a comment below. Tell me what you would have done in Ava's shoes. Would you have walked out? Would you have burned the bridge faster? Or tried to fix it? Your thoughts, your reactions, they keep this channel alive. And trust me, the next story, it's even wilder. Stay tuned, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.